Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke. The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Westerns and crime on this Wednesday with episodes of The Shadow, Mystery in the Air, Have Gun Will Travel, Gunsmoke, and Blackstone the Magic Detective. That's all straight ahead on this Wednesday, and you know what that means. This is the 28th day of August, 241st day of the year, 125 days remaining. Henry Hudson discovered Delaware Bay on this date in 1609. The first commercial to be broadcast on radio aired on this date in 1922 on station WEAF in New York City. The 10-minute advertisement for the Queensboro Realty Company cost $100. That station would eventually become WNBC, then WFAN, the first all-sports radio station. In 1955, Emmett Till, a black teenager from Chicago, abducted and killed by white men after he supposedly whistled at a white woman in Mississippi. The original case resulted in acquittal, but after the accused murderers admitted their guilt to a Look magazine reporter and not only showed no remorse, they saw nothing wrong with the killing. Case reopened in 2005. So much time had passed, there was insufficient evidence to bring charges against anyone still alive. Dr. Martin Luther King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech at the Lincoln Memorial on this date in 1963.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring. from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on this date back in 1963. In 1968, anti-Vietnam War protesters and police clashed in the streets of Chicago while the Democrat National Convention nominated Hubert Humphrey for president.
Bad place to be in.
Rioting on the streets of Chicago on this date in 1968. 1981, the Centers for Disease Control announced a medical task force had been formed to look into the incidence of Kaposi sarcoma and pneumocystis in homosexual men, AIDS later found to be the cause. A mandatory evacuation order ordered by New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin and Louisiana Governor Kathleen Blanco as Hurricane Katrina moved nearer to Louisiana on this date in 2005.
It's not a meteorologist or an expert that I have talked to that says that this storm will not impact New Orleans in a major way. As a result of that, I am this morning declaring that we will be doing a mandatory evacuation.
The order came almost too late, and a lot of people died that shouldn't have. In 2022, a mint-condition Mickey Mantle baseball card sold for $12.6 million, a record for a piece of sports memorabilia.
It's one of the finest Mickey Mantle 52 Topps cards that exists, graded a SGC 9.5 Mint Plus, so it's in the upper echelon for one of the most coveted baseball cards in our industry.
Mike Provenzale, a production manager for Heritage Auctions Sports Department, explaining why it was so valuable. Passing away on this date in history, Buffy from A Family Affair, Anissa Jones, actor-screenwriter Ruth Gordon, also actor-director-screenwriter John Huston, the author of Dobie Gillis, Max Schulman, also Japanese Oscar winner, Japanese-American actress, won an Oscar for Sayonara in 1957, best known as from The Courtship of Eddie's Father, Miyoshi Umeki, born on this, passing away, I should say, on this date. Pro wrestler and manager Mr. Fuji, and from the Black Panther movie, Chadwick Boseman, passing away 4 years ago, colon cancer at just 43. Birthdays on this date include Hutch and Starsky and Hutch, David Soul.
1976. Don't give up on us, baby. We're still worth one more try. I know we put a last one by, just for a rainy evening, when maybe stars are few. Don't give up on us, I know we can still come through. Don't give up on us, baby. Don't give up on us, baby.
It did go to number one on Billboard's Hot 100 in 1977, Don't Give Up on Us, Baby, and Hutch and Starsky and Hutch, David Soul, born on this date, as was actor Ben Gazzara, also Donald O'Connor, another fine actor, along with singer, dancer, Miss Hathaway from the Beverly Hillbillies, Nancy Cope, born on this date, as was comic book artist for Marvel, Jack Kirby.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
From Boogie Nights and Carlitos Way, Luis Guzman is 66 today. She is still the one, Shania Twain.
The hits of the 90s. 1998. Don't get me wrong, yeah, I think you're all right, but that won't keep me warm on the long, cold, lonely nights. That don't impress me much. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what do you think, you're Elvis or something? Whatever. That don't impress me.
It was her third biggest hit single on the Billboard Hot 100, one of her biggest hits worldwide. Shania Twain, 57 years old today. From Lord of the Rings, Billy Boyd is 54. From the original 90210, Jason Priestley is 53. You remember him, Nacho Libre, School of Rock. Jack Black is 53.
The world is run by the man.
Who?
The man. Oh, you don't know the man? Oh, well, he's everywhere. In the White House, down the hall, Miss Mullins, she's the man.
Wrong movie. She's the man? No. From School of Rock, the 2003 movie, Jack Black, 53 today. Oh, Leanne Rimes turns 40 today.
1997. How do I live without you? I want to know. How do I breathe without you? If you ever go, how do I ever survive? How do I?
Leanne Rimes, 40 years old. It's hard to believe she's 40. Florence Welch of Florence and the Machine is 36.
Run fast for your mother, run fast for your father, run for your children, for your sisters and brothers. Leave all your loving behind. You can't carry it with you if you want to survive. The dog days are over, the dog days are done. Can you hear the horses? 'Cause we are late,
From Florence and the Machine's 2008 album, you've got Lungs is the name of the album. Dog Days Are Over. Florence Welch, 36 today. And from the 2013 Lone Ranger movie and the 2015 Man from U.N.C.L.E., Armie Hammer is 36. Those just a few of the people celebrating the 28th day of August as their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you!
And we'll start out by going back 86 years, August 28, 1938. Orson Welles as Lamont Cranston, Margot Stevenson as Margot Lane in an episode of The Shadow, the summer show of The Shadow, and The Tomb of Terror. That's next.
Congress is poised to pass a bill to keep AM radio in cars, but time is running out. 82 million Americans risk losing the news, sports, talk, traffic, and vital emergency information they rely on. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass this bill now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
And on this Wednesday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 86 years to August 28th, 1938, an episode of The Shadow and The Tomb of Terror.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment, The Shadow will be on the air with a thrilling new adventure. But first, let me tell you about a new kind of tire that makes wet weather driving safer than you've ever dreamed possible. It's the new Goodrich Silvertown tire with the Lifesaver tread. Next time it rains, just notice the way your windshield wiper sweeps the water right and left to give you clear, safe vision. Well, that's how the amazing Lifesaver tread on the new Goodrich Silvertown tire performs on a wet road. It sweeps the water right and left, forces it out through the deep drainage grooves, makes a dry track for the rubber to grip, gives you the quickest non-skid stops you've ever seen. And you get this life-saving skid protection plus golden ply blowout protection at no extra cost. So play safe. Equip your car with Goodrich Safety Silvertown. The Shadow, Lamont Cranston, a man of wealth, a student of science, and a master of other people's minds, devotes his life to righting wrongs, protecting the innocent, and punishing the guilty. Cranston is known to the underworld as the Shadow. Never seen, only heard. The Shadow's true identity is known only to his constant friend and aide, Margot Lane. Today's story, The Tomb of Terror.
And
And so, gentlemen, we are gathered here on the grounds of the City Museum to pay tribute to those who have successfully brought to this country the building that stands before you. The authentic tomb of the Egyptian pharaoh, King Khufra-Tep. It is my pleasure to present to you now the man who is largely responsible for its discovery, transportation, and reassembly. The director of the expedition, Dr. Romney Hale.
Thank you. Thank you. Directors of the museum and fellow workers, I am very grateful. It has been through your cooperation that this work has been made possible. Although perhaps we owe a vote of thanks to good King Khufra-Tep himself. In spite of the legendary curse that all who gaze upon King Khufra-Tep's mummy shall die, the bulk of our job is finished. Now, before you are admitted for the inspection, will you excuse Mr. Avery, Mr. Johnson, and myself while we make a brief check of the interior of the tomb? Harry, Jack, will you come with me?
Oh, surely, Doctor.
Oh, certainly, Doctor. Well, gentlemen, how does the place look to you?
Why, Doctor, you've done an amazing job.
It looks exactly as it did when we first unearthed it in Egypt. Thank you. Would you like to pay your respects to His Majesty? Oh, indeed I would, Doctor. Very well. Will you help me with the lid of the mummy case? Oh, sure. There you are. Khufra-Tep the King, Lord of Egypt.
My, magnificent face.
Yes, wonderfully preserved. We are defying the ancient curse by looking upon that face. Oh, come, Dr. Hale. Surely you don't believe
Look at the mummy's eyes.
Why, that's strange. They seem to glow. Yes, I see it, too. A sort of unearthly light.
What is this, Doctor? A trick?
No, gentlemen, I give you my word. I don't know what it could be.
The light's growing brighter.
I don't like this. It's uncanny. Close that case. Let's get out of here, Doctor. I can't understand it. If we hadn't all seen it, I would...
Dr. Hale, what's the matter?
Take his arm, Jack. Let's get him outside.
Where did you...
What's wrong? What's the matter with Dr. Hale?
I don't know. He suddenly collapsed. He was...
Jack, what's the matter with you? Someone get a doctor, quick. These two men are very ill. Harry, what happened in there?
Well, Mr. Rafferty, I was...
Harry!
Catch him, he's falling.
Harry. Here, man, tell me what happened.
Mr. Rafferty, it was... The eyes.
Yes.
It's King Khufra-Tep's curse.
Doctor, tell me, how are they?
All three of these men are dead. Hold those fences.
What do you got, Chief?
A terrific yarn. Dr. Romney Hale, the archaeologist, and two of his assistants died mysteriously an hour ago in King Khufra-Tep's tomb. Play up the curse angle and spread it for all it's worth.
Right, two, cream on its side.
Some of those donuts, too, please.
Oh, donuts? Lamont, do you suppose we can dunk?
Well, certainly, Margot. Lunch wagon etiquette not only allows dunking, it encourages it.
There's your donuts, Chief. That'll be 26.
Here you are. Just keep the change.
All right, thanks. Say, bud, is there anything new on them guys that kicked off over at that coffee, the kipper, that Egyptian king?
No, nothing new.
Hey, how about my ham on rye?
Right with you.
Just what do you make of that tomb affair, Lamont?
Just amazing. And the newspapers are playing up the superstition fallacy.
You don't think that all three deaths were due to coincidence?
Hardly that, but I certainly don't hold to the Khufra-Tep curse theory.
But something strange must have happened in that tomb.
Unquestionably.
According to the newspaper reports, one of the three men before he died was heard to mutter something about eyes, terrible eyes. And his last words were King Khufra-Tep's curse.
They were undoubtedly terrified by something they saw in there. Did not die of fear.
Oh, I know. According to the doctors, they all died natural death.
Yes, that's quite true.
One of pneumonia, one of typhoid, and one of heart disease.
That's the way the doctors had to write their death certificates. Perhaps when the truth is known, they will have to be changed.
Changed? What do you mean, Lamont?
You finished eating?
Oh, yes.
Shall we take a walk?
Oh, all right, let's go.
Good night, boss.
Good night.
Night. Lamont, what did you mean the death certificates will have to be changed?
3 men do not die within seconds of one another of different diseases without a single underlying cause.
Oh, that's true.
Margot, the mysterious death of those 3 men has challenged the imagination of the shadow. I must find out the medical details of the deaths of those men.
Then you think there's more in it than the papers have printed?
I know there is.
I can get those details for you.
Good. soon as you have the necessary information, communicate with me. The Shadow will await your call. Hello.
Lamont, this is Margot.
Oh, yes, Margot. What did you find out?
I just talked to Dr. Burley, he's in charge of the case.
Yes?
He said that the 3 men actually died, as the paper said, but there was one detail that was not printed.
What is that?
Well, the doctors themselves don't seem to understand it, but an examination of the victim's blood has shown in each case a complete absence of leukocytes.
Leukocytes.
Yeah.
Those are white corpuscles.
Yes.
Do you realize what that means? Without white corpuscles in the blood, the human system would have nothing with which to combat disease. No wonder they died. Margot, this is the first key to the mystery. Perhaps the Shadow can find the answer to the next question within the museum walls.
I tell you, we must go through with the public opening of the tomb, as originally planned.
But will the public be there?
We'll have to take that chance.
Gentlemen, I wish we had never started this project.
Now, see here, Kent. You've been acting like an old woman about this whole thing.
But, Mr. Rafferty,
We've poured thousands of dollars of the museum's money into the tomb, and it's up to us to dispel this nonsense about the Coopertep curse.
I am not so sure that it is nonsense.
Rubbish.
Oh, you can't dismiss the fact that 3 men died.
They all died natural deaths.
I wouldn't be too sure about that, Mr. Rafferty.
Who's speaking?
Who is that?
I am called the Shadow.
The Shadow?
I've heard of you. What do you want of us?
I've been investigating the deaths of your 3 colleagues. I've come to warn you that no one must be permitted within the walls of the tomb.
Why do you say that?
Because anyone who enters may not come out alive.
Are you implying that there is truth in the Coopertep curse?
I am telling you, Mr. Rafferty, I have reason to believe that the name of the curse of Coopertep is cold, premeditated murder.
Nonsense.
Not nonsense, Mr. Stevenson.
With all respect to your unsolicited information, we are not going to be intimidated by an unknown voice. Speak for yourself, Mr. Stevenson. I am inclined to respect the Shadow's warning.
Quiet, Kent. On what grounds, Shadow, do you base your statement?
You will have to accept what I've said on faith.
I've had enough of this. Wait, Mr. Stevenson. We may learn more. No, I'm going to rid us of this hocus-pocus once and for all.
Yes, what do you propose to do, Stevenson?
I'm going into that tomb tonight, right now.
Don't do that, Mr. Stevenson.
I know what I'm doing, Shadow. Well, who'll accompany me? Don't tell me that you're all afraid.
Why, no, not at all. But perhaps none of us should be too hasty.
Very wisely spoken, Mr. Rafferty.
Very well. Then I shall go alone.
You are very foolhardy, Stevenson.
We shall see. Who has the key to the tomb? I have, Mr. Stevenson, but... Now, give it to me. Mr. Rafferty, can't you persuade him to change his mind?
Don't you think, Stevenson, we might...
give me the key. Very well. Here you are. Thank you.
Now, wait. We'll accompany you to the door of the tomb.
All right.
You may be going to your death, Stevenson.
I'll chance that. Come along, men. Well, here we are. Have any of you changed your mind? Mr. Rafferty?
No, thank you.
Hawkins? I prefer to wait outside. I know. There's no use asking you, Kent. Don't go in there, Mr. Steve. Something horrible waiting for you in there. Give me that flashlight. I'll find that out for myself. He's in the tomb. Nothing horrible has happened in here yet. Don't touch the mummy case. Why not? Might as well make the investigation complete. Don't, Stevenson. You mustn't. Can't any of you stop him?
What can we do?
I'm opening the mummy case. We've got to get him out of there. I'll go myself.
Here, come back here, Kent.
Stevenson! I'm looking at the mummy's face. Hey, that's strange. There's something peculiar here. Come away from that mummy, Stevenson.
Kent! Stevenson! I insist that you both come out of there at once.
But there's something here that I don't understand. There seems to be... Kent, it's happened. He's choking.
Kent, bring him out here.
I'm trying to. Here. All right, Stevenson. Here, now just lean on me.
Stevenson. Man, what happened?
I looked at Gufraw. He's dead. He's dead.
It's not possible.
The Shadow was right.
Yes, gentlemen. Stevenson ignored my warning. This perished. This should convince all of you that there is a ruthless killer masked behind the Coopertep curse.
Ladies and gentlemen, one warning from the Shadow strikes fear into the hearts of his adversaries. Yes, and just one skid is enough to put the fear of wet, slippery roads into any motorist's heart.
The Shadow knows. The thousands of motorists who are killed or injured every year when slithering skids throw cars out of control, would never risk the danger, grief, and expense of riding on unsafe tires if they had another chance.
Motorists, I've already told you that the new Goodrich Silvertown tire will stop you quicker, safer on wet pavements than you've ever stopped before. But you don't have to take my word for it. Here are the facts. Exhaustive road tests of both regular and premium priced tires of America's 6 largest tire manufacturers were made by the nation's largest independent testing laboratory, the Pittsburgh Testing Laboratory. And here's what they found. The new Goodrich Silvertown with Lifesaver tread gave greater skid resistance than any other tire tested. Yes, and that included those tires listed at from 40% to 70% higher in price. The Goodrich Safety Silvertown gave more non-skid mileage than any other tire tested in its own price range. Average 19.1% more miles before the tires wore smooth. That's performance in any car owner's language. The kind of performance that spells safer, more economical driving for you. Remember, there's double protection in these life-saving Goodrich Silvertowns at no extra cost.
Margot, what did you learn about Stevenson's death?
Well, Lamont, the doctors officially called it influenza.
What about the blood test?
It was the same as the others. The white corpuscles had been destroyed.
Just as I thought. That proves that Stevenson was murdered, too, and by the same instrument.
But, Lamont, what can that instrument be?
It may be a serum, poison gas. I don't know. More important than the killing device is to find the killer's motive.
You found out something, Lamont?
Not exactly, but I saw a man at the museum about whom I should like to know more.
Who is he?
Aldous Kent, an assistant curator. I'm sure that he has more knowledge of this affair than he allows himself to show.
Why do you suspect him?
For several reasons. His apparent concern for Stevenson's safety was a bit overdone. For a scientist, he was surprisingly naive about the Kufatep curse, and most important, in spite of his outward fear, he followed Stevenson into the tomb. I'd like to know more about that man, Margot. And that's where you can help me.
Yes, Lamont, but how?
By visiting Kent as a newspaper woman. Interview him about his career. Find out whether he's interested in any branch of science other than archaeology. Well, Margot?
I saw Aldous Kent.
Yes?
He hasn't always been an archaeologist. He worked at many things.
For instance?
Well, before he went to work for the museum, he was employed as an assistant by Dr. Faber. You know, the well-known biologist.
Very interesting, Margot. I think that's all I'll have to know.
But, Lamont, does that have any bearing on the murder?
May have everything to do with them. I'll be able to answer that question after the shadow pays a call on Dr. Faber.
Dr. Faber.
Eh? What? Who's that?
Don't be startled, Dr. Faber.
Who are you?
I am the shadow.
Are you in this room? I can't see you.
I regret that I must remain in the shadows.
What do you want?
I am seeking information.
Well?
I would like to have you tell me what you know of Aldous Kent.
Kent? Aldous Kent? Well, he worked for me. He was my assistant for several years.
Yes, I know that, Dr. Faber. What kind of a man was he?
Very efficient laboratory man.
Why did he leave your employ?
Well, frankly, because he was dissatisfied. Kent was a very moody man. He felt that his work should be more fully recognized.
What sort of work did he do?
He was active in all the routine laboratory experiments.
Can you recall what some of those experiments were?
Well, let me see. Well, he made some really brilliant contributions to our work with the Röntgen ray. That's the X-ray, of course.
Yes, I know. Exactly what were those experiments?
We were varying the ray to determine its effect on animal life.
What was that effect?
Well, at one stage of the game, it was destructive. We developed a ray that was capable of destroying the white corpuscles in the blood of the laboratory animals.
It's enormously interesting, Doctor. Tell me, does such a ray have the same effect on human beings?
Oh, yes, it probably does.
Thank you, Dr. Faber. You have given me the solution to the mystery of the Kufatep curse.
I feel feel certain, Margot, that the machine of death is concealed somewhere within Kufratep's tomb.
But why must you go there tonight?
Because I can investigate without danger of interference. There's no time to be lost.
Can't you confront Kent with the information you already have?
Oh, Kent's a clever man. He might give him time to destroy the evidence. And we could pin nothing on him.
Yes, I see.
If I can uncover the deadly ray and positively identify Kent with it, he can be tricked into capture.
Here's the museum.
Turn in this driveway. It's a precaution now. Switch off the headlights.
Lamont, I hate to have you going into that tomb alone. It's an eerie-looking place.
Nothing will happen to me.
Yes, that's what the others thought.
The others weren't aware of the real danger as I am. Hand me the flashlight, Margot.
Here you are.
Thank you.
Wait, what's that over there among the trees?
Appears to be someone carrying a lantern.
Approaching the tomb. Lamont, who can it be?
Wait. I think I recognize him. Yes. It's the old watchman.
Oh. Shall you wait now until he goes?
I'm not sure that he's going. He seems to be entering the tomb.
Lamont, isn't it strange after all that's happened that he should dare to enter there alone?
Very strange, and I'm going to find out why. Won't need this flashlight, Margot.
What are you going to do?
It is the shadow who will enter that tomb for a little conversation with the old watchman.
Shall I wait for you?
No. Take the car and return home. Stand by for the shortwave wireless. I may need your help in communicating a message of vital importance.
Good evening, Your Imperial Majesty. I've come again to see that you are resting well. Your work is nearly done. Only one more to gaze into your eyes. And then the vengeance is complete.
You have served me well.
Who speaks?
Who indeed would speak within the resting place of the king?
Are you the...
Yes. It is I, Kufratep, Pharaoh of Egypt.
Oh, Your Majesty.
Rise up. You need not kneel in my presence.
Yes, Your Highness.
Do not tremble. You have nothing to fear.
You are not angry?
Angry? Why should I be angry toward one who serves my interests? I have come to reward you.
To reward me?
Yes. But first, I must have an accounting.
What do you mean?
You must tell me how you brought death to the defilers of my tomb by the curse which bears my name.
Oh, the credit is not mine, Your Majesty.
Whose then?
Aldous Kent.
Aldous Kent? Why should he concern himself with me?
It is not your vengeance alone that he seeks, but his own as well, and mine. Kent is a great man, but no one will recognize him. They keep him slaving in the museum day after day, doing all the real work. Well, some others get the glory, just as they did to me. And now he's evening his score. Hale, Avery, Johnson, Stevenson, all those have paid for their stolen fame. But one more must die. Hawkins. And then Kent will achieve the position that is rightfully his.
Do you know how Kent destroyed those men?
Of course. I helped him, Your Majesty. Yeah, it was clever. So clever. They all scoffed at the legend of your curse, but it was really you who killed them.
I killed them?
Yeah, no one would dream that within your mummy there lies concealed the generator of the ray.
What ray?
The ray that shines from your eyes and destroys all who look upon you.
Show me how this is done.
It's so easy, Your Majesty. Here. Hidden here in the wall is a switch. You see? It is thrown like this. Then whoever approaches the mummy case, as I'm doing, and lifts the lid, so, and gazes into your eyes, the gleam of death shines upon them. Oh, what have I done? I didn't mean to look. I couldn't. Save me. Save you.
I cannot save you. Your own evil knowledge has destroyed you. But by your death, you have pointed the way to Aldous Kent's undoing. Calling Margot Lane. Communicate with Rafferty, the director of the museum, at once. Tell him to arrange the public opening of the tomb tomorrow as planned. Be sure that both Kent and Hawkins will be there. This is important, Margot. Tell Rafferty that he must follow my directions implicitly. A man's life is at stake.
Before admitting the public, I have invited you, gentlemen of the press, to gather here to dispel once and for all this nonsense about the legend of the Kufra-Tep curse.
Well, just how do you propose to do that?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Burke, as you know, the tradition is that everyone who looks at the face of the mummy dies.
Sure, I know that.
I know that. Now, this is Mr. Hawkins, gentlemen. He is the sole survivor of the Kufra-Tep expedition.
Yeah, we know Hawkins.
Yeah. He has volunteered to show you that there is no truth in the stories that your newspapers have played into national prominence.
What's he going to do?
The mummy case will be opened in your presence, and Mr. Hawkins will personally gaze on Kufra-Tep.
Now, this ought to be good.
Are you ready, Mr. Hawkins?
Well,
very well, you may proceed.
So, Mr. Rafferty,
Go ahead, Hawkins.
Mr. Rafferty, I can't. I changed my mind.
What? What are you doing? But, Mr. Hawkins, do you realize what this means?
Yes, Hawkins, you must go through with it.
I'm afraid not, Kent. I've lost my nerve.
The prestige of the museum is at stake.
Well, you seem to have changed your attitude, Kent.
Well, I disapproved of this plan at the beginning, but as long as you've gone this far, I think you should carry it out.
Well, Kent is right.
Well, I'm sorry, but, well, when I think of the others, what happened to them, and seeing them die, I just can't.
Well, boys, looks like the show's over. Let's go.
Wait, gentlemen, don't leave. Now, Mr. Hawkins, if I volunteer to look on the mummy's face first, will you follow me?
Well,
That's certainly fair enough, Hawkins.
Very well.
Have I your permission to open the mummy case, Mr. Rafferty?
Yes, you have.
You're very brave, Mr. Kent.
Who's that?
It's the Shadow.
The Shadow? Boy, what a yarn this is going to be.
Shadow, why are you here?
I anticipated your performance, Mr. Kent, and I came to see that it was carried out properly.
What do you mean by that?
Before you proceed, I suggest that somebody throw the switch concealed in the carving on the wall.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do know, Mr. Kent. I want your demonstration to duplicate Hale's, Stevenson's, and the others. The switch was thrown then.
This is absurd.
Here it is. I found the switch.
Please turn it on, Mr. Rafferty.
There you are. It's on.
Good. Now you may continue your little performance, Mr. Kent.
This whole thing is ridiculous. I refuse to be made a fool of.
Are you trying to back out?
I will not continue under these conditions.
I thought you wouldn't. You know that to look on the mummy's face when the switch is on would mean death.
That is not true.
But it is. And no one should know better than you. Concealed within that mummy is a murderous ray. That ray is your own conception.
That's a lie. There is no ray.
Then why don't you look on Kufra-Tep now?
Because
Then you shall be forced to do so.
No.
Rafferty, Hawkins, lead him to the mummy case.
Come on, Ken. I won't. Let go there. Let go.
Somebody left the lid of the case.
Let go. I won't look.
Now, Aldous Kent, stare long into the eyes of Kufra-Tep. Do you see the evil light that glows within them? That's what the others saw.
No. I didn't. I killed him, I confess. I killed him, but don't make me look at it. Ah!
He's dead.
Then it's true. There is a ray.
Not any longer, gentlemen. I removed the machinery that generated that ray. All that you have just seen was carefully staged to trap Aldous Kent. He is dead. He died of fear. Fear of the thing which he himself created. You have all witnessed the end of the curse of Kufra-Tep. A curse which fell justly on the true desecrator of the tomb.
You
have been listening to a dramatized version of one of the many copyrighted stories which appear in the Shadow magazine, now on sale at your local newsstand.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
All the characters and all the places named are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
The summer series of The Shadow from 86 years ago, August 28, 1938, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Coming up next, Peter Lorre. And there's mystery in the air beyond good and evil.
Americans have always been noted for their know-how. And you young men in search of a career, you can put this practical talent to excellent use in one of our nation's many engineering schools. At the present time, we need engineers. We need them to maintain our scientific and engineering superiority. So look to your future, to America's future. Plan now to become an engineer.
Thanks to all of you for your fine comments about our show. I greatly appreciate them. I read as many of them as I can, and I appreciate everything you have to say. You can comment at classicradio.stream. At classicradio.stream, not only can you can find our Facebook, social media links there, where you can contact us through Twitter and the Book of Faces, and you can also catch our YouTube channel. We get nothing for YouTube. Our other distribution, we get a little bit, but any help you can give us through Buy Me a Coffee is always appreciated. Let us go back to a summer replacement show, which was great, and it really deserved a full run, but, Peter Lorre got his short run in the summer of 1947, got to do some wonderful radio acting, and did a wonderful job. This is from 77 years ago today, August 28, 1947. Mystery in the Air, Peter Lorre, and Beyond Good and Evil.
Mystery in the Air, starring Peter Lorre, presented by Camel Cigarettes.
This, dear friends, was the man Philip Gentry, or Reverend Pierce, or whatever other name he may choose in eternity. The man whom we bury today. That night when he stood above my bed, pouring defiance and bitterness into my ears, thinking that I was paralyzed, I could both speak and write. My paralysis had been gone for many days. But I did not speak, because I knew what Philip Gentry would do, what he had to do, criminal and murderer though he was.
Each week at this hour, Peter Lorre brings us the excitement of the great stories of the strange and unusual, of dark and compelling masterpieces culled from the four corners of world literature.
Tonight, Beyond Good and Evil, starring Peter Lorre, brought to you by Camel Cigarettes. Experience is the best teacher. Try a Camel. Let your own experience tell you why more people are smoking Camels than ever before. Yes, try a Camel. Let your T-zone decide. That's T for taste and T for throat, your proving ground for any cigarette. Let your T-zone decide if Camel's rich, full flavor and cool mildness aren't just made to order for enjoyment. Yes, try a Camel. And be sure to have a carton of Camels on hand for the long weekend coming up.
Reverend Pierce.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Lucy. Is Reverend McKillop still awake?
Oh, yes. We don't put him to bed until 8 or later. Is evening service over already?
Is it over? Shame on you, Lucy, a parson's daughter, and you forget there is no service on Wednesdays.
Of course. You've come to read to Father.
Well, there's so little I can do. If he were able to let us know in some way.
I can tell by his eyes. Whenever you're here, they fairly glow.
Oh, I suppose that helpless as he is, not able to speak or even to write, my visits are at least a diversion.
You're much more than a diversion. You're his hope.
No, Lucy. The Lord is his hope.
Oh, yes.
The Lord struck him down with paralysis, and in time the Lord will surely free him from it. Well, I'll go in and try to cheer him up. Good evening, Reverend McKillop. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, McKillop, you hang on my every word, and you never talk back. You never have, except once, and after tonight you won't get the chance. Huh? Speak up, Reverend, why don't you? No, of course, the cat's got your tongue, huh? Yes, tonight is your last chance, Reverend. Tonight is the consummation, finish, the end, Act 3 curtain on a great play about death and redemption, about good and evil. And I won't shrink from your eyes, McKillop, see? Your eyes can't kill, but I can kill. I have the mind and the will and the hands. I've killed one man, that you know. And tonight I am going to kill again. Yes, Reverend McKillop, you know who I was before I became the Reverend Howard Pierce, pastor of this good and godly community. And you know my real name, it's Philip Gentry, but you never knew the soul of Philip Gentry, the contempt, the sum of evil that was in me that night it all began. Yes, it's now 3 months ago. What a stormy night. I was crouching in a swamp with a man named Mac, because we had just escaped from prison, hiding like animals in the deep mud and ooze, alien from the whole entire human race.
Gentry, where are you going?
The highway, you idiot. Got to make time before daylight. Before the rain stops. They'll bring out the bloodhounds in the morning.
Yeah, okay, you're the boss.
There's the highway now, there, beyond the fence.
Well, so what do we do now? Where do we go?
Split up. I'll meet you in Chicago later.
At Gus's place?
Yes, at Gus's place in 2 or 3 weeks, when the manhunt cools off.
You won't let me down, will you, Gentry?
I said I'll meet you. Now get moving. Go on, fast. I walked a mile, and then I saw a car. It was parked close to the edge of the road. Its headlights almost blacked out by the rain. And then, by the glow of what I knew was a flashlight, I saw a man bending into the rain, struggling to change a tire. He was alone, so I walked up to him. Hello. Need help?
Oh, you startled me.
I'm sorry.
I didn't expect to see anyone this late.
Picked a bad night for a flat.
Yes, and it's the second today. I'm going to be awfully late.
Here, come on, let me help.
Oh, no, thank you. But if you would hold the light.
Oh, sure. Come a long way?
Yes, from Detroit. I'm on my way to Carlton. I was supposed to get there this afternoon. I'm the new minister there. My name's Pierce.
Didn't notice you were a preacher.
Yes, I'm taking over for old Reverend McKillop at Grace Church. He's been in bad health, so I'm taking his place. Yes. Oh, my, this bolt is stubborn. I can't seem to get it to...
Come on, let me have the wrench.
No, really, just hold the light.
I said give me the wrench.
Well, all right. It's awfully good of you.
Come on, give it to me.
No, wait.
I need
wait, what are you doing?
Car, Reverend Pierce.
No,
You're
please.
going to be eaten later than you thought.
Oh,
be quiet, you... I hit him twice, and I can't tell you now, Reverend McKillop, what I thought when it wrenched bit into flesh and bone. Oh, I swear to you that it was not my intention to kill, and yet I did. I killed, yes. When I put my hand on his chest, the heart had stopped, and and the Reverend Howard Pierce was dead. Yes, Reverend Pierce was dead. Very dead, so I buried him. I buried him in my prison clothes, and soon I was dressed in his clothes. Oh, I had on his decent black and turned around collar, and I was rolling this way. And at the city limits of Carlton, my own destiny stepped in. I was stopped by a traffic cop.
Let me see your license, buddy.
A license? Oh, yeah, Here it is.
Howard Pierce. Occupation. Oh, minister. I didn't notice.
Well, what is it, officer? Was I speeding?
No, we're checking all cars on this road. There was a break at the state pen. 2 prisoners escaped.
Yes.
They might come this way.
I see.
But I won't hold you up any longer, Reverend. You going far?
Oh, no, Carlton.
Well, say, this is Carlton.
It is? Oh, yes, there's the sign.
Say, I get it. Imagine me not catching on right away.
Catching on?
Sure, you must be the new preacher for Grace Church.
Oh, yes, I am.
Well, I'm Charlie Owen. I sing in the Grace Church choir, baritone. You going to the parsonage now?
Yes, I was.
Well, it's a little tricky finding it. I'm going into headquarters now, and I have to go right by Reverend McKillop's house.
Oh, that's nice.
You follow me.
Thank you, son. It's very nice of you.
Hello there, Lucy.
Why, hello, Charlie.
Guess who I'm delivering to you? It's Reverend Pierce. He's just getting out of the car. Who are you expecting, Lucy? The boyfriend?
You mean my fiancé, Mr. Tom Hubbard?
When are you two going to get married, anyway? You know, everybody in... Oh, here's Reverend Pierce. Reverend Pierce, here's Lucy, Reverend McKillop's daughter.
How do you do?
Oh, come in, Reverend Pierce. Father and I have been so worried. We expected you all afternoon.
Oh, I had 2 flat tires.
Oh, what a shame. Well, Father's waiting up for you in his study. Father, Charlie Owen brought Reverend Pierce.
Reverend Pierce? Well, come in. You and Mr. Owen wait outside for a few minutes, Lucy.
All right,
Sure,
Father.
sir.
Sit over here, Reverend Pierce.
Thank you, sir.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to see you. I really couldn't bring myself to sleep tonight without first talking to you. You see, the situation's serious.
Serious? Why, Reverend?
My health. I'm a sick man. I've had 1 stroke, as I wrote you.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
Well, I could have another one at any time.
Okay.
The doctor says a worse one. And I feel it essential that the work of the parish should be in firm hands. This parish needs a young man.
Why, I hope to be of service, sir.
I've heard only good of you, Reverend Pierce.
Thank you.
And you know you're even younger than you looked.
Really?
In the picture you sent. Darker, too. Your hair.
I'm afraid it wasn't a very good liking.
I have the picture here somewhere on my desk with your letters.
What did you want to talk to me about, Reverend McKillop?
Oh, all the work of the parish. Oh, yes, here's the photograph. It's,
Something wrong,
Pierce.
Reverend McKillop?
It's not... Who are you?
Not what?
This isn't your picture. Who are you?
I don't think that should interest you. It's
Something's happened to Reverend Pierce.
McKillop.
What did you do to him?
What do you think I did, Reverend McKillop, huh? Come on, go on, guess. Guess, don't you hear me? Come on, don't you play with me, you sanctimonious fool. You... Come on, speak up. Speak up. What's the matter with you? Oh, don't tell me you had another stroke, huh? That's all right. You can't speak, huh? Is that it? Well, I'll find out. In any case, I'll take that picture, Reverend McKillop, and now if you don't...
Reverend Pierce, we thought...
Yes, Lucy, something has happened to your father. We were talking and...
Is it?
Yes, I'm afraid it's another stroke. He can't speak, and apparently he can't move.
Father, what can we do?
Lucy, we'll have to wait for the doctor and maybe even then.
I know. The doctor said he could be paralyzed for months, years. But he mustn't die.
No. If we have faith, the Lord will spare him. And until the good Lord returns his health, I'll try to shepherd his flock. Yes, and since that first time, Reverend McKillop, you've never opened your mouth again. Oh, you can stare, yes. Stare as hard as you want. That doesn't bother me, because your stare cannot kill, but I, as you know, I can, and I will, Reverend McKillop.
Moments, Mr. Peter Lorre will bring us the climax of tonight's Mystery in the Air, when camels present Act 2 of Beyond Good and...
Ask a sports champ in any field what helped him most toward success, and he'll probably say experience. Yes, experience is the best teacher. Take bronc riding champ Jerry Ambler. His most recently won sports crown is the Saddle Bronc Championship of the World. Experience? Why, say, Jerry's been riding broncs for 18 years. Yes, as he recently said,
experience is the best teacher, in bronc riding and in smoking, too. A cigarette for me is Camel.
And there, Jerry's like thousands and thousands of other cigarette smokers who smoke just about all the different brands during the wartime cigarette shortage. Well, experience like that was bound to make people experts in judging the differences in cigarette quality. And on the basis of that experience, thousands and thousands of people decided they liked Camels best. Yes, they learned that for rich, full flavor and cool mildness, the cigarette for them is Camel. As a result,
more people are smoking Camels than ever before.
Experience is the best teacher. Try a Camel yourself.
Reverend McKillop, aging, paralyzed, unable to speak, listens helplessly as Philip Gentry, criminal and murderer, explains why he killed Reverend Pierce and assumed Pierce's clothes and identity, and describes his first sermon.
And so, in conclusion, dear friends, remember the agony of our Lord was shared by two thieves, and they were crucified beside him that he might be numbered among the transgressors. And remember his words to one, verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. Now we will sing hymn 426, Just As I Am, without one plea. That was my first sermon, Reverend McKillop. Oh, I saw your eyes when Lucy told you how deeply moved the congregation was. Oh, you couldn't understand. You just couldn't how such a thing could be done without faith. Oh, but I've been a lawyer, and I've done a lot without faith. Yes, I've been the ideal parson you were looking for. I wish you could ask young Hubbard. You don't know he called on me, huh?
Reverend Pierce?
Yes?
I missed your first service, Reverend. I thought I ought to pay you a call. My name's Hubbard.
Oh, yes, I know. You're in the choir. Come on. Come in, Mr. Hubbard. Make yourself comfortable.
Oh, thank you.
What's your business, Mr. Hubbard?
I work at the bank. I'm chief teller.
Chief teller, huh? A very responsible job for a young man like you.
I suppose it is, but I don't have much more responsibility than the other tellers, except at the end of the month.
Oh.
Then it's a strain.
End of the month? Why?
Well, sure, that's when I have to...
Yes?
You know, I've never told anyone about this.
Please.
So even with you...
Well, if it's confidential...
Well, no, naturally not so far as you're concerned, Reverend Pierce. You see, the 30th of the month, we move all our deposits to the Federal Reserve Bank.
Yes.
$200,000 or more. So you can see how I wouldn't want some people to know that.
You mean you have to take the deposits alone?
Oh, no. Gosh, no, that'd be even worse than it is. No, there's an armored truck that comes to take the money.
Surely the bank takes adequate precautions.
Well, I have a gun, and there's an alarm system, but...
You see?
Well, the thing is, I'm all alone.
Huh?
Sometimes when I'm sitting there at my desk, I think how easy it would be.
Why?
Well, all somebody would have to do is shoot me through the glass door.
Okay.
Even if the alarm rang, it would be 10 minutes before the police got there.
Well, Mr. Hubbard, after all, it's a very quiet community, no one.
Well, I guess that's what the directors of the bank figure.
Only possible danger I can see would be from too many people knowing what you've told me. I mean, wrong people. And you say you don't talk. So...
Oh, no. No, Reverend Pierce. I've never told a soul except you.
See, that's faith, McKillop. I see I did a lot without faith, but not without faith in my own shining destiny. Imagine, out of all his communities, 35,000 people, Hubbard picked me to share his secret. He even told me the truck didn't come for the money until 9:30 at night. As soon as Hubbard had gone, I wrote a letter to Mac. You remember, I told Mac to wait for me in Chicago, and in that letter, I explained the setup, and I asked him to be at the bank at 9 p.m. on the 30th. Well, and in the meantime, I continued to play my saintly part. It was easy. Warmed by adulation, warmed by love, yes, love. Because even you could see what was happening to your daughter. Your own very beautiful daughter. Lucy, yes, she fell in love with me. And believe me, Lucy was a great help to me, blinded by what she called love. If I made a slip, she was there to help me cover up. And what did I feel? Love? Well, Lucy, as long as the word love served me, I used it. But last week, on Wednesday, when I came in the evening to read to you, I suddenly realized it could also be a source of great danger.
Oh, Howard, darling. You're all I've waited for all day.
Let me look at you, Lucy. Say you look so happy.
Howard, I've the most wonderful news. Guess.
How can I guess?
Well, I've never breathed a word to Father about us. Oh. You and me, you know, because you asked me not to. Well, not until he can talk to us and give us his blessing. No, not yet, I haven't, but the doctor was here today.
Yes?
And he told me Father will speak again soon, any day now.
Well.
Doctor doesn't know why he hasn't already. Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yes, and yes, it is.
Howard, what's the matter?
Nothing is the matter.
Well, there is, I can see.
Well, look, Lucy, I was going to tell you before. You see, I can't marry you. Not ever.
You can't?
Please, don't ask me why.
It's because you don't love me.
Believe me, Lucy, you just have to go on and live your life as if you'd never met me.
As if I'd never met you. You know what that means?
Whatever it means.
It means I'll marry Tom Hubbard and you'll perform the service.
Yes.
You'll be the one to make me Mrs. Tom Hubbard.
Mrs. who? Who did you say?
Tom Hubbard. I'll be a banker's wife.
What? Never knew his name before. Well, no matter what you think, Lucy, I'm sure you'll be happy. I have to go in and see your father now, Lucy, and try to be brave, will you? Good evening, Reverend McKillop. Oh, you poor, voiceless, brainless, harmless old Reverend McKillop. I hear you may be able to talk again, yes. I hear someday you're going to speak. Well, I have only 1 week to wait, that's all. 1 week, but you are a danger. Therefore, I ought to kill you, Reverend. I ought to kill you now. Oh, don't ask me why I didn't kill you, Reverend McKillop. I suppose it will always be distasteful to me. It's a job for cruder minds, and if it happens that my neat habits turn in a good deed now and then, that doesn't make me a Boy Scout, does it? I might not like to think of Lucy, only 2 days married, so soon to be a widow, so soon in half an hour, yes, because in half an hour, Mac is going to shoot Tom Hubbard as he sits at his desk. And in half an hour, I'll have $200,000 and I'll be free, you hear? Well, Reverend, now that you know the real Philip Gentry, do you understand? Do you? No, I doubt it. I doubt if you, with your good book and your years of tending the good sheep in the rich green pastures here, could ever understand 1/10 of what a man like me feels. doesn't matter. I don't need your understanding. I don't. Good night, Reverend, and sleep well.
Who is it?
It's me, Reverend Pierce, Tom.
Oh,
let me in.
Reverend Pierce, just a minute. I wanted to make sure. You see, this is the night when the truck comes.
Yes, I remember. That's how I knew where to find you.
Oh. Well, did you want something?
Yes. Lucy's feeling sick. I came to send you home.
Lucy? But I can't. I have to stay.
I can stay for you.
Gee, I don't know. I'm supposed to stay until the truck gets here.
Lucy's calling for you, Tom.
She's really sick?
Yes.
Well, all right. I guess with you here, it'll be all right.
Just tell me what to do.
Well, that's the money right there, already in those sacks.
Yes. I sit here?
Yeah, right at this desk. Gee, I don't know what the directors will think.
Come on, run along, Tom. They'll never know. Even if someone walks by from the outside, they'll never know if it's you or me sitting here.
Right to the head. Gotta have the money ready.
Mac.
Hear him.
Mac.
Huh? Who's there?
Come here, Mac. Come here.
Gentry.
Yes, it's me.
But,
Mac.
But something screwy. You said in your letter that...
No. I didn't have a chance to tell you. The plans were changed.
Oh, Gentry. Honest, Gentry, I didn't mean to shoot...
No, Look, you better go. I'm dying, man.
I ain't gonna leave you here, Gentry. What do you think?
Yes, you are going to leave me. They won't get me, Mac. I'm dying. You go on now. Only you won't be able to take the money. The plan is all changed.
Okay, that doesn't matter, the money.
Remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom.
Hey, what are you talking about, Gentry?
It's from the Bible, Mac. You wouldn't know it. It's from the Bible. Yes. It was said by a thief.
This, dear friends, was the man Philip Gentry, or Reverend Pierce, or whatever other name he may choose in eternity. The man whom we bury today. That night when he stood above my bed, pouring defiance and bitterness into my ears, thinking I was paralyzed, I could both speak and write. My paralysis had been gone for many days. But I did not speak, because I knew what Philip Gentry would do, what he had to do. I knew what he denied, that to accomplish work as he had in God's vineyard, a man must have faith, even though he deny that faith. That is why, in spite of all, he protected my daughter's happiness. That is why he could not kill me. For the work he did here had molded him, in spite of himself, into a man who is truly a servant of God. To such a man our Lord would say, "Verily I say unto you, today shalt thou be with me in paradise."
Each week, the makers of Camel cigarettes send free Camels to servicemen's hospitals from coast to coast. This week, the Camels go to Veterans Hospital, Wood, Wisconsin, USAAF Station Hospital, Langley Field, Hampton, Virginia, U.S. Naval Hospital, Memphis, Tennessee, U.S. Marine Hospital, Cleveland, Ohio, and Veterans Hospital, Aspinwall, Pennsylvania.
More people are smoking Camels than ever before, and many of those people are doctors. When 3 leading independent research organizations asked 113,597 doctors, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" The brand named most was Camel.
According to a nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Next week, Mystery in the Air, starring Mr. Peter Lorre, brings you The Mask of Medusa by Nelson Bond, with a special musical score composed and conducted by Paul Barron.
Why do you smoke a pipe? For pleasure, of course. Then get the tobacco especially made for smoking pleasure, Prince Albert. Ask for mellow, mild Prince Albert the next time you buy tobacco for your pipe. And the extra pleasure you'll enjoy will tell you why more pipes smoke PA than any other tobacco. Prince Albert's choice tobacco is specially treated to ensure against tongue bite. Crimp cut to burn slow, smoke cool. Ask for Prince Albert. See if Prince Albert doesn't give you more pipe enjoyment. Listen in on Prince Albert's Grand Ole Opry Saturday night for a half hour of folk music and laughs. With Red Foley and his Cumberland Valley Boys, Minnie Pearl, the gossip from Grinder Switch, Rod Brassfield, and the rest of the Opry gang. And as Red's special guests, you'll hear Cowboy Copus and Barefoot Brownie. Remember, Prince Albert's Grand Ole Opry, Saturday night over NBC.
Listen again next week at this same time when the makers of Camel cigarettes present Mr. Peter Lorre in Mystery in the Air. The artists supporting Mr. Lorre tonight were Henry Morgan as the voice of Mystery, Peggy Weber as Lucy, John Brown as Reverend McKillop, Howard Culver as Mac, Jack Edwards Jr. as Hubbard, and Russell Thorson as Reverend Pierce. This is Michael Roy in Hollywood wishing you a pleasant good night for Camels.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Yes, Henry Morgan, better known to all of us as Colonel Potter, Harry Morgan, along with the wonderfully over-the-top Peter Lorre. Just an amazing, there are some people who would get nuts like that, and you would just kind of shake your head. But Lorre was so very good at it. Mystery in the Air, Beyond Good and Evil, from 77 years ago today, August 28th, 1947. Up next, we'll take a look at the Sunday that was August 28, 1960, 64 years ago, and we'll start off by going to San Francisco and see what's going on in the Carlton Hotel with Paladin, John Dehner. Have Gun Will Travel.
Because millions in Europe and Asia still have need for clothing and food relief, and because nonprofit CARE still sends more food and clothing per dollar spent, continue to give the CARE Way for the relief of misery in foreign lands. Send your name and the name of the person you're helping with complete address to CARE, New York. Enclose $10 or $6.95 for the new budget parcel. CARE, New York.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we're going to go back to August 18th, 1960, a Sunday. 2 shows from that date, both Westerns. John Dehner starts off as Paladin in an episode of Have Gun Will Travel, strictly for the birds.
Look, I know more about this desert than you do. Does the money you might get from our client mean more to you than your life?
Have Gun Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Dehner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel, headquarters of the man called Paladin.
Oh, Mr. Paladin.
Yes, hey, boy.
You enjoy sit here? Relax, smoke a cigar, read newspaper?
Oh, I certainly do, hey, boy. That's why I gave you specific orders that I was not to be disturbed today. I need a little rest and relaxation.
Oh, my.
What's the matter with you?
Oh, don't know.
You seem quite troubled, hey, boy. What is it?
Oh, don't know. Business condition, maybe.
Oh, I see, yes. Well, it's up and down, hey, boy.
Oh, yes, sir. Ye down today, all right.
I take it the guests in the hotel haven't been exactly lavish with their tips, huh?
Mr. Paladin, downright stingy.
Oh, well, it'll pick up.
Yes, sir. Hey, boy, have good reason to feel encouraged, but, he don't know.
All right, hey, boy. What is it?
Mr. Paladin, see that man stand over there by desk?
Uh-huh.
That man, his name, Mr. Higby. He said, hey, boy, do you know where I can find Mr. Paladin?
And?
Hey, boy, remember Mr. Paladin said, do not wish to be disturbed. So, hey, boy, say, oh, no, sir.
You were quite right, hey, boy.
Yes, sir. Oh, then a man reach in pocket, pull out biggie tip and say, be worth good deal to me if I could talk to Mr. Paladin.
Then what did you do?
Oh, I just walk away, come over here, ask you if you enjoy wasting time, smoke cigar, read a newspaper.
I see. All right, hey, boy. Bring him over.
Oh, yes, sir. Like you say, business all up and down.
That's a warning signal for all drivers. And that can be a warning signal for drowsy drivers on long, monotonous trips. You see, driving can make you drowsy no matter how much sleep you get. And driving and dozing just don't mix. Why take chances? Take no-doze, stay-awake tablets. Millions of times a year, safe no-doze keeps drivers awake and alert. Helps you bounce back so that you feel sharp, ready for any emergency. How does no-doze do it? Ask your doctor. He'll tell you that no-doze contains a safe and accurate amount of caffeine, the same refreshing stimulant you get in your coffee or tea. But safe no-doze acts faster, is handier and more reliable. Best of all, it is not habit-forming. And no-doze is so safe, it is legally sold on a national basis without a prescription. Get no-doze, stay-awake tablets to help you stay awake and alert. It could save your life.
And now, Mr. Higby, what can I do for you?
Do you know the name Solomon Fisk Bibber?
Of course.
And when you hear that name, what do you think?
You really want to know?
Well, naturally, the first thing that comes to anyone's mind in connection with that name is wealth. Fabulous wealth.
Well, the way I put it, Mr. Higby, is filthy rich, and I mean filthy.
Sir?
Well, I can never seem to forget that he got the start on that fortune of his by profiteering during the war.
Oh, come now, that's neither here nor there.
Well, it is to me. But anyway, what about Solomon Fisk Bibber?
Well, I've been on a rather interesting assignment for that gentleman. I've just arrived here from the Orient on the steamer Prospero.
Oh, the Prospero docked this morning, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Carrying in her holds the treasure it took me the better part of a year to search out on an unlimited expense account, you understand.
Yes, of course.
Pavo Cristati.
Pavo Cristati.
Pea-fowls, to be exact. A pair, a peacock and a peahen. Oh, and what beauties. An extremely rare species from Ceylon.
Oh, you're an ornithologist, Mr. Higby?
Not exactly. Let's say I'm an opportunist. The peafowls will cost my client, Mr. Bibber, a pretty penny, but he wants what he wants.
Well, what does he want with a couple of peafowls?
Oh, just another costly item to enhance the magnificence of his estate on the Hudson. The peacocks will add a decorative touch to his terrace.
Sounds nice. Now, what did you want to see me about?
Sir, I would like to hire you to ensure that this treasure gets safely across the country.
Well, why do you need help getting 2 birds to New York?
My dear man, obviously you're not aware of the great value of these particular birds. Now, there are many collectors of the rare, the precious, and the unusual who would be only too glad to intercept them en route. Why, they're worth a king's ransom. Will you accept the job?
No.
No?
No, thank you. I don't want to work for Solomon Fisk Bibber.
I assure you it'll be well worth your while.
I don't want his money.
Mr. Paladin, I'm just a businessman like yourself, although obviously not so fastidious. But this is very important to me. Well, if you won't help me across the country, will you please give me protection when I move the birds from the docks to the train? For a satisfactory fee, of course.
Our waterfront is a bit terrifying, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Higbee, I'll lend a hand to another businessman. But remember, only from the docks to the train. Meg's Wharf. That's what we want, isn't it?
Yes. Good heavens, I've never seen such weather. Broad daylight, you can't see 3 feet ahead for the fog.
I think this is far enough. Sounds like they're unloading now.
All right.
Come on. We'll walk over where we can watch.
Right you are.
You'll recognize your crate, won't you?
Oh, by all means. Hey, I do believe that's the cage on the hook now. Hope they handle it carefully.
That big thing is a bird cage?
Oh, they're very large birds, you know.
I'm afraid I don't know much about them.
Well, possibly one of the most interesting of the Avis carinati. In the ancient Greeks, the peacock was known as Juno's bird. You see, the markings on the train were considered the 100 eyes of the giant Argus, set there by Juno.
Uh-huh.
Now, this particular strain is held sacred in India. It's fascinating, isn't
Hey,
it?
what's that?
That's the cry of the pavo cristatus.
You mean tell me just 2 birds can make all that racket?
Oh, yes. Paladin, look at the way that cage is swinging in the air.
That's all right. The dock hand will steady it when it comes down.
Bringing it down awfully fast.
Yeah, they sure are. The cable must have slipped.
It's going to crash. I can't look.
Hey. It's all right. It's all right, Higbee. The fall was just a few feet. They're not hurt.
But the cage is broken open. They'll get away.
Leave it to the dock hand. We'll take care of it. Hey, Higbee. That bird is attacking that man. He's vicious. I'm going to have to stop.
No, Paladin. No. Put that gun away. Don't you dare.
Higbee, let me go. Look at that thing is doing.
Please let me handle him. Now you stay here. Please. Oh, thank heavens they're safe. How fortunate. And he only lost 2 train feathers.
Yeah. But that dock hand nearly lost 2 eyes. So that's a peacock, huh? Are they always like that? Mean, loud?
It's hard to say. They're very unpredictable.
Higbee, I've changed my mind. I'm going with you.
Fine. I hoped you would.
Yeah. I'm going to make sure that Solomon Fisk Bibber gets his pavo cristati. He deserves them. This is certainly an elegant compartment. I must say, when you work for a Solomon Fisk Bibber, you go first class.
Yes, nothing but the best.
Well, now that I've convinced myself this is a worthy project, I'm glad I came along.
Good.
I can use some easy money.
Why, we seem to be stopping. I wonder why.
We're coming to a town. But I don't believe it's a scheduled stop for this express train.
Oh, somebody's at the door.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yes?
You Higbee?
No, that's Mr. Higbee. Conductor, we were wondering why the train's stopping.
'Cause this train don't carry no doctor, that's why.
Doctor, is somebody ill?
Yeah, one of my freight crew. He come out second best in a set to with one of them misbegotten birds riding up there.
This? Man I paid to feed them?
Yeah, they finished their breakfast and they started in on him.
Oh, dear. Well, now what arrangements can I make to see that they're cared for?
Now, Mr. Higbee, if them birds is going to eat, you're going to feed them yourself. There ain't nobody in this whole train'll go within breaking distance of the critters.
Well, how can I manage that?
Well, I guess you'll have to ride the freight car with them. This express ain't making mealtime stops for them fiendish things.
You mean we ride to New York in the freight car?
Yeah. And another thing, you keep them fool things quiet. Folks in the first 2 cars set up all last night with loaded rifles, thinking the Comanches were closing in. Now you keep them quiet or off they go.
Nothing but the best.
Well, these quarters are a bit cramped, aren't they? I'm not sure just how I'll manage.
Manage what?
The birds should be exercised. I know. I'll let them out of the cage one at a time so that they can walk around a bit.
Yeah, we seem to be slowing down. Probably going to make a stop so the engine can take on water. Yeah, I think I'll climb out of this black hole and get the kinks out of my leg.
All right, now, easy, one at a time. All right, Mr. Pea-fowl. You can be first. No, Mrs., you'll have to wait.
Here's where I get some fresh air. Ooh, my back. You want to join me?
No, thank you.
I'll hold on to that bird. I'm going to slide this door open.
Well, don't open it too wide.
Don't worry. Hey, it's stuck. I can't.
Here. Oh, get him, Paladin!
Hey, you come back. It's too fast for me.
I couldn't hold him. The noise of the door scared him.
Look at him go.
Well, we'll have to go after him.
Go after him? You crazy? I'd say it was good riddance.
We've got to get that bird.
Higby, be reasonable. We're in the middle of the desert. How do you figure we could ever find him? Anyway, you've still got the hen.
My agreement with Bevel was for the pair, payment on delivery, and I intend to get paid.
All right, what do you suggest?
Well, get some of the cord off that box in the corner.
What for?
We're going to make a collar and a leash for the hen and get off the train.
A collar and a... Oh, no, you can't be serious.
Of course I'm serious, but we'll have to hurry.
I won't have any part of such nonsense.
You accepted the job, Paladin.
All right, so I did. I've done some fool things in my time, but this beats all. Walking through the desert with a peahen on a leash.
But the idea is sound, Paladin, really.
Oh, is it?
Yes. See, actually, we're approaching the mating season of the pavo cristatus. Now, at the proper time, the lady will call to the gentleman, and he will answer her call post-haste.
I see.
In other words, we've only to stay somewhere in the vicinity of Mr. Pea-fowl, and in due time, he'll come back to us.
But this is a big desert, Mr. Higby. You don't know how far he's gone.
The mating cry of the peahen can be heard for many miles.
I can believe that. Well, as near as I can figure, we're about 10 miles south of the town of Whitewater. We better head that way and get a wagon. Did I say something about easy money? Oh, shut up.
And now, here are Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy.
Bergen, why did you stop the car here?
I want to talk to that farmer. Oh, mister.
Oh, you call me?
Why, it's Mortimer Snerd.
Oh, where? Oh, that's me.
Are there any General Motors dealers around here?
No, but we got some Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, and Cadillac dealers, though. And some Chevy and GMC truck dealers, too.
Well, Mortimer, those are all General Motors dealers.
Oh, what do you want to see them all for?
Well, I only want to see one for guardian maintenance.
Do they make that car, too?
No, that's a service that's available only at General Motors dealers' service departments.
Oh, I see.
Yes. And right now, they're featuring complete lubrications, quality appearance services, brake adjustments, and front-end inspections. It's quality work performed by GM-trained servicemen at a fair price.
Well, that makes good sense even to me.
Paladin, what did you find out?
We can get a wagon, all right, but the only way we can travel through that stretch of desert is in a wagon train with a cavalry escort.
Well, why is that?
Army order. Seems there's been an Indian uprising.
Oh. Well, what do we do?
Well, they're making up a train now. We can join it, all right, but I think our best bet is to take that fool peahen and try to make it back the other direction to the nearest railroad station.
No, Paladin. No, that peacock's somewhere out on that desert. We've got to find him.
Look, Higby, I know more about this than you do. Does the money you might get from Solomon Fisk Bibber mean more to you than your life?
It isn't that, Paladin. It's a matter of business ethics with me. I gave my word, and I intend to keep it.
Yep. I see what you mean. Well, come on. But that thing goes in a crate.
Hold it up there. The lieutenant, he wants us to stop.
Who knows? Yes, Lieutenant?
All wagons into a circle when we reach that grove of cottonwoods ahead. Indians just over the ridge.
You expect attack?
From our scouts' report, we're greatly outnumbered. But we must be prepared to defend ourselves as best we can if necessary.
What's behind this uprising, Lieutenant?
The chief of this particular tribe, Old Many Feathers, was friendly to the whites. He died a short time ago. Some of the young bucks who didn't agree with his policies are trying to take over, stir up a bit of trouble.
I see.
There's a bare possibility they haven't spotted us, so no fires. And move as silently as possible.
Right.
Get up.
You hear that, Higby? The lieutenant wants silence. Pass the word along to the peahen.
All right, Paladin. I'll keep the blanket over the crate. That'll keep her quiet.
Higby.
Paladin, where have you been?
I had a talk with the lieutenant.
Oh, Paladin.
Look, Higby, it's almost dawn. If they're going to attack, it'll be any time now. That rifle you were issued, you have it handy?
Yes.
Good.
Paladin.
What?
Look up there on the top of that tallest cottonwood tree.
Oh, no. How'd she get up there?
Oh, she flew out of the crate when I opened it to feed her. Went right for that spot, and she's been roosting there ever since.
What is that? What's that noise?
It's a bird, Lieutenant.
A what?
A bird in the top of that tree.
I never heard a bird that sounded like that.
Yeah, I don't suppose the Indians have either, and they'll probably be over to investigate. I guess our party better be alerted for an attack, Lieutenant.
I'm afraid so. And if they come, don't waste ammunition. Let them get in range before you fire. I'll pass the word along.
Right.
Paladin, listen.
Yes, I hear it.
Oh, that's the peacock.
You mean he's come back?
Yes, he's answering the mating call, just as I said he would.
That's fine. That's fine. That's all we need. You hear that?
Indians?
Indians.
Oh, no.
Paladin, I've been fighting Indians for 15 years, and I've never seen the like. Here they come tearing down that slope. They must have outnumbered us 20-1. They get down to that clearing, stop, and without firing a single shot, ride on back up the hill. I tell you, it's got me baffled.
Well, it had me baffled too, Lieutenant, but I believe I have it figured.
Yeah?
Yes, it was our advance force that turned them back.
What?
The peacock.
That silly bird who was strutting back and forth down there in the clearing?
A pretty spectacular bird, you'll have to admit.
Yeah, all those feathers.
Uh-huh. Many feathers. The peacock was strutting back and forth down there with an I dare you attitude. Actually, he was following his instincts to protect his mate who was up there in the tree, but I'm convinced that those superstitious Indians who had never seen a peacock before felt it was the spirit of their old chief, Many Feathers, daring them to fire on his friends, the white men.
Yeah, that guess is as good as the next.
Yeah, it'll do until we can think of a better one.
Well, Paladin, I have that precious pair secured at last.
Then we're ready to go, huh?
Well, at least we have them halfway to New York.
Now, what are you fellas doing traveling with those fool birds anyway?
Oh, picking up a little easy money.
Paladin, don't you want to go downstairs in lobby to read newspaper?
No, Miss Wong. I just want to rest, relax, and I think I stand a better chance up here in my room.
Oh.
When you finish cleaning and leave, I'm going to lock the door.
Hey, boy, tell me you go all the way to New York. Take birds. Pea birds.
That's right.
You know, Mr. Paladin, in China was great honor for emperor to give peacock feather.
Yes, so I understand. Peacock feather was considered some sort of an award,
Yes,
wasn't
sir.
it? Yeah.
This was a successful trip, Mr. Paladin?
Oh, very.
Oh.
Of course, by the time we delivered the birds to Mr. Solomon Fisk Bibber, the peacock looked pretty bedraggled, but his disposition was, worse than ever.
Pepsi-Cola refreshes without filling. Why? Because it's truly light.
Charlie, you're forgetting something.
Wait, Kay, there's more. Yes, ice-cold Pepsi is the delicious refreshment that goes great at a picnic or a party.
But, Charlie...
And Pepsi goes fast. People like it, so keep plenty handy. There.
Oh, you did fine, except for one thing.
Well, I mentioned lightness and how Pepsi refreshes and how fast it goes.
You left out Pepsi sociability. You know the Be Sociable song.
But, Kay, I can't sing.
I can. Listen.
Be sociable, look smart, keep up to date with Pepsi. Drink light, refreshing Pepsi. Stay young and fair and debonair. Be sociable, have a Pepsi.
Well, at least I can say this. Pick up an extra carton of Pepsi today.
Please do.
Have Gun, Will Travel. Created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced and directed in Hollywood by Frank Paris and stars John Dehner as Paladin, with Ben Wright as Hey Boy and Virginia Gregg as Miss Wong. Tonight's story was specially written for Have Gun, Will Travel by Ann Dowd. Featured in the cast were Bartlett Robinson, Frank Cady, and Joseph Kearns. This is Hugh Douglas inviting you to join us again next week when CBS Radio presents Have Gun, Will Travel.
Old-time radio listeners remember the name Joseph Kearns for so many things he did on radio and some television. He was the original Mr. Wilson in Dennis the Menace. But Frank Cady, not known as well for his radio work, but you remember him from television as Sam Drucker in Petticoat Junction and Green Acres. Alrighty, August 28, 1960, 64 years ago, Have Gun, Will Travel for the Birds. Take a quick look at the news from that Sunday in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, last year's traffic death toll was 37,500, a 7% increase over 1950. The National Safety Council believes that the best way to promote safety on the road is for each of us to know and obey traffic laws, to read and heed traffic signs. So be careful. The life you save may be your own.
Few of the news items from Sunday, August 28, 1960, include this dispatch from the Congo. Rampaging Congolese army troops raided a United Nations office and attacked the crew of a U.S. Air Force Globemaster in Stanleyville. The UN made a strong protest to the Congo government. 8 U.S. airmen were taken to the hospital after the attack by Congolese soldiers. A U.S. spokesman said all 8 had been maltreated. 3 of the Americans at first were reported missing. Officers said they were seized by Congolese army police and taken to a military camp. They later were released by Ethiopian UN troops and taken to hospital. Latin American-born ministers hammered out a draft resolution which would sidestep U.S. charges against Fidel Castro, but condemn Nikita Khrushchev for making rocket threats in defense of Cuba. The compromise worked out by four nations faced possible challenges and even bitter debate before being finally approved by the 20 members of the Organization of American States. A worried Senate gave up efforts to pass a compromise medical care for the aged plan early Sunday under an agreement to vote about 1 o'clock tomorrow. Senator Russell B. Long, the Democrat of Louisiana, who had held the floor for many of the more than 13 hours the Senate met, finally agreed to a proposal by Majority Leader Lyndon Johnson to fix a definite time for voting Monday. Early Long protesting because some of his proposals had been dropped from the plan after Senate approval, had rejected any efforts to limit debate and fix a voting time for either early Sunday or Monday. A 4-year-old Mount Washington, Pennsylvania boy who had 4 Salk vaccine shots was in serious condition in Children's Hospital yesterday, the victim of infantile paralysis. Donald Wayne Race, taken to the hospital late Friday, immediately placed in a respirator. Hospital officials said the tentative diagnosis is bulbar type polio. Sporadic racial violence, including the third shooting of the day, flared into the night in the wake of pitched battles between groups of club-wielding Negroes and white persons in Jacksonville, Florida. One man standing in a group of white persons on a residential street corner was shot and wounded in the groin about 11 p.m. Others in the group told police the shots were fired from a carload of Negroes that drove by. President Eisenhower played golf at nearby Burning Tree Country Club with his brother Edgar of Tacoma, Washington, who was in Washington for a meeting of the American Bar Association. And Earl Kemp Long, the pea-patch philosopher, won a seat in Congress from the 8th District of Louisiana while flat on his back and under sedation in a sickbed. He defeated the incumbent, 34-year-old Harold McSween of Alexandria, Louisiana, in a seesaw battle, breaking the usual Southern custom of re-electing incumbents in order to keep committee seniority in Congress. And Miss Wendy Holmes, 17, of Vancouver, British Columbia, named the most outstanding junior achievement president of the year at the group's national conference in Bloomington, Indiana. She was selected from 35 other junior achievement presidents who represented the 3,900 young business tycoons heading miniature companies. She gets $100, make that $1,000 scholarship. Those are just a few of the day's news stories from this date, Sunday, August 28, 1960. Coming up next, Gunsmoke.
Instead of going down, the annual rate of polio cases in this country is going up. Instead of growing panicky with fear in the face of such an unwelcome fact, there is a way in which we all can join the Army which is fighting to check this trend and ultimately defeat infantile paralysis. We can contribute to the March of Dimes. Give today so that the 1952 March of Dimes will be the biggest ever and a really potent fighting force against polio.
All right, let's wrap up our look at Sunday, August 28, 1960, 64 years ago today, with an episode of Gunsmoke entitled Tumbleweed.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it.
I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
Dillon, I swear I never seen the likes of it.
Well, what's the matter, Chester?
Well, Boog Wilson won't leave himself. I opened the door and he won't budge out of there.
Did you tell him I was releasing him today?
Yes, sir, I did, but he claims he wants to stay. Well, he even asked me what I was fixing for dinner. What we going to do?
Yeah, the train's in. You go on down, get the mail. I'll handle it.
I never seen a man who wanted to stay in jail before.
All right, come on out of there, Boot. I'm turning you loose.
Oh, it's all right, Marshal. You needn't bother.
You like it here, do you?
It's the onlyest home I ever had.
I see.
You and Chester have been good friends to me. Particularly Chester.
Is that why you keep getting drunk, just to get in jail?
Well, a fellow's got to have a friend. A roof over his head, don't he, Marshal?
All right, come on, Boot. Let's go.
I got my hat under this blanket here. I sure like my hat, Marshal.
Yeah.
Oh, here's that extra blanket Chester gave me. I tried to keep it from touching the floor.
Thanks, Boot. All right, let's go.
You say so.
You going back home now?
I don't rightly know where home is at. Old Pa, he run me off before I was old enough to know where we was living. Said he couldn't feed me no more.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I've been kind of like a tumbleweed going here, there. Guess I'm from all over now.
Don't you ever stay put?
Well, I'd like to. But people always run me off, just like Pa did. Just when I think I got a friend, they tell me to go.
I'll get you packed for you.
Now you're doing it, Marshal.
Doing what?
Running me off.
Now, look, Boot, I got nothing for you and nothing against you. I put you in jail 4 times for getting drunk and almost breaking somebody in 2 with your bare hands. Now, all I want you to do is to keep yourself out of jail by staying away from those saloons. Here. This all your stuff?
I won't stay in Dodge, Marshal. Fella's got to have a friend where he stays.
Look, don't take me wrong, son. It's just that there's no...
Mr. Dillon, come here, quick.
Oh, what's the matter, Chester?
A hangman's come to town.
A hangman? What are you talking about?
Come take a look. He's all dressed in black, and he's hauling his gallows right along with him.
Gallows?
See there? 3 yoke of oxen pulling it. Ain't that an awful-looking thing? A gallows built right on the back of his wagon.
Henry Maples.
You know him?
I've heard of him. He thinks he cleaned up the border country with that gallows.
Oh, but what's he doing here, Mr. Dillon?
Well, maybe he thinks Dodge is next. Come on.
Friends, if you'll just listen to me a moment, please. I'll answer all your questions at a later time. From what I hear of Dodge, I'll be here for quite a spell.
He's getting these people pretty well worked up, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, let's wait here.
Just a moment. There's plenty of time. First off, I want to know how many murders you've had in this town the last 6 months. Come on, speak up. Don't be afraid. How many murders? How many of your fellow townsmen have been shot down to die like dogs in the street? How many times has the law been obstructed? You, madam, how many times has a man been killed right here on the streets of Dodge?
Well, I don't know exactly.
How many?
Well, 6, I guess. Maybe 8 dozen for all I know.
There you are. The good lady doesn't even know. Anywhere from 6 to a dozen killings. And do you know the answer to this? Do you know it'll stop this bloodbath? There it is. Made of wood and nails and rope, the finest rope money can buy. Man's answer to man's misdeeds. Let me ask you, madam, where are the men who perpetrated these foul killings?
Well, I'm not sure. They were taken to Fort Hays for trial, and, well, I just don't know.
But are they dead? As the law says they should be. Now, the law's not unkind, my friends. The law is just. When I hanged Billy Street, yes, I hanged him, Billy Street. He walked up those steps, those very steps, with a smile on his face. And he told me he'd never owned a new suit. So I stopped the hanging. And out of my own pocket, I bought him a new suit. And before I dropped him, Billy Street thanked me. Oh, the law's not unkind, my friends. The law is just.
Maples.
Oh, who called my name?
I did. Marshal Dillon. I want you to take your gallows out of Dodge.
What became of all those murderers, Marshal? Did they pay you to let them go?
There were 6. 2 of them were hanged at Fort Hays, and 4 of them are in the territorial prison.
4 men who lived to kill again.
I'll give you till sundown to have the gallows out of Dodge City, or I'll burn it in the streets.
You'll learn, Marshal. Discouragement by fear. That's the answer to your killings. Now, would somebody give me a hand with these oxen?
I'll help you, Mr. Maples.
All right, my friend. Take the halter on the lead oxen.
Yes, sir. Say, you can just call me Boog, Mr. Maples, 'cause that's my name. Boog Wilson.
Well, then lead on, Boog Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Hey!
Maybe I ought to tell you something.
What is it, Chester?
Well, this town is getting awful jumpy about that gallows sitting out there on the edge of town.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yes, but well, it's kind of dividing up the people.
Yeah, I know all about it, Chester, but you let me do the worrying, huh?
Yes, sir. Kitty's right over there at the dock.
I see her.
Oh, Matt. I'm glad you're here.
Hello, Kitty. Doc.
Yeah, well, it's about time the real law put its foot in here. Maples is sure stirring these people up.
Oh? How long's he been here?
About half hour. He's showing tintypes of men he's hanged and the ropes he's used. He talks about hanging people like he was proud of it.
I think maybe he is, Kitty.
That gallows of his reminds me of some vulture just waiting to devour somebody. Have you been out there, Matt?
No.
Well, I rode by there the other day on my way to Mrs. Wiggins. Why, he was standing up on that gallows without even moving. He had a rope strung up. For a moment, I thought somebody was hanging there. Oh, I tell you, I jumped a foot when he moved.
Yeah, I'll bet you did.
Hey, how did Maples ever get started, man?
I'll answer that question, Marshal Dillon.
Huh? All right, go ahead, Maples.
How'd I get started? It was simple. First, I had convictions. I believed in the law, so I read the law. When Judge Brand asked for a man to carry out his judgments, I volunteered. By the way, Marshal, I was paid $100 per man. I'll expect the same from Dodge City.
Dodge doesn't need you, Maples.
It will.
Hey, hangman. I want you.
All right, Thayer, you're drunk. Put the gun away.
Maples, I've been thinking about you. I had a brother hanged once. Jimmy was his name. Maybe you was the one who done it? Jimmy? Jimmy Thayer?
I told you to put the gun away, Thayer.
Stay out of this, Marshal. Maples, move over here.
I hanged no man by that name.
And I'll kill you for the one who did. Start moving, Mr. Hangman.
I warned you, Thayer.
Marshal, don't make it you and me. I've been waiting for him all evening.
Thayer.
You're making it you and me, Marshal.
Doc, take care of him.
All right, Matt.
You still think your town doesn't need my kind of law, Marshal Dillon?
Get out of here, Maples.
Somebody give me a hand.
Mr. Maples? Mr. Maples.
What is it, Boog?
I've been looking all over for you, and I heard those shots, and I was pretty worried.
I'm all right.
Now, you hadn't ought to go out without me looking after you.
Never mind, Boog. I'm on my way back to camp right now.
Well, there it is, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, I see it.
I sure do get an awful feeling about a gallows.
Uh-huh.
I reckon it's because I seen a hanging one time when I was just a little boy.
You did?
Yes, sir. Papa took me because he wanted me to learn the wages of sin, as he put it, so he told Mom it'd be a great lesson for me. But
Well, was it?
No, sir, I can't rightly say it was.
Why?
Well, see, they was hanging 3 men for stealing. And me being kindly little and all, I couldn't see none too good. I was standing there in this crowd, and when the time come, all I could make out was a bunch of men going around picking the pockets of the people watching up at the men being hanged. Now, that kindly learned me something, but it wasn't quite what Papa set out for me to learn.
No, I guess not.
Miss Jones, look. Just look up there. Sweeping that gallows with a broom just like it was something important.
Yeah, the maples, I guess it is.
There's a rope hanging straight down through the trap. See there?
Yeah.
Well, good morning, Marshal.
Maples.
Good morning, sir.
Well, the gibbet's ready, Marshal Dillon. I'm stretching one of my new ropes now.
Yeah, I see.
Apology for last night isn't necessary, Marshal. I've forgotten it already.
Apology? I didn't come to apologize.
That's good. I don't like a man that crawls.
How come you to stretch that rope, Mr. Maples?
Not one of my clients has ever come back for a second try.
No, I reckon not.
The reason is I buy the best 1.25 Kentucky hemp you can get, and then I stretch it down to 1 inch before I use it.
What do you use to stretch it with?
Boog Wilson's under there. He'll show you. Get ready to untie it, Boog.
I can't untie this knot, Mr. Maples.
Chester, go down and give him a hand, huh?
Yes, sir.
You see, Marshal, I got a 200-pound bag tied on the rope.
I'm not interested in that, Maples.
Oh?
The businessmen in town told me to see that you leave Dodge City permanently. You and your gallows.
But why, Marshal? Dodge needs me.
They don't think so. And neither do I.
But the law, what about the law? It must be upheld.
It is being upheld, Maples. Your kind of law might have been all right a few years ago in the border country, but not in Dodge.
Murderers must be hanged, Marshal Dillon. There's no other answer.
I'll give you till tomorrow morning, Maples.
Hello, Marshal Dillon.
How are you, Boog? You staying away from the liquor?
Yes, sir.
Good. You see that you do. All right, come on, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Maples, I heard how he talked to you. I wasn't friendly like. You've been good to me. You let me help you.
I brought the law before. I can do it again.
Mr. Maples, I was saying I'd like
there
to...
There must be a way.
Mr. Maples?
Huh?
Maybe I can help.
Oh, you, Boog?
Yes, sir.
Yes, maybe you can. Boog, I want you to go to Dodge City with me tonight. Will you do that?
Mr. Maples, I'd do anything for you.
Town's quiet tonight, Mac.
Doc, I hope it stays that way.
Well, in my business, that's when I worry the most. Mr. Dillon! Mr. Dillon!
Uh-oh.
Yeah, what do you want, Chester?
Miss Kitty sent me after you. Boog Wilson's about to kill a man at her place.
What? Well, come on.
Matt, stop him. Who's going to break him in two?
Boog, stop it.
Kill you.
Stop it.
Nobody talks to my friend that way.
I said stop it. Sayer, you all right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks. Oh, he'd like to broke every bone in my body.
Chester, take Boot and lock him up.
Yes, sir. Come on, Boot.
Thanks, Matt. I thought sure there was going to be a killing.
I told Boot to stay out of saloons.
Don't blame him. It was Maples.
Maples?
Yeah.
What's he got to do with it?
He was trying to get him drunk. He kept buying him drinks.
Oh? Where is Maples?
I guess he left in all the excitement. Matt, why would he want to get Boog so drunk?
I think I know, Kitty. But I'd have a hard time proving it.
Sorry, I don't know how much Dillon gets these guns so dirty. Just look at that. I'm going to have to practically...
Good morning.
Oh, Mr. Maples.
Is the marshal here? I want to talk to him.
No, sir, he ain't. He's off on a business trip that's going to take him all day.
Oh, then I'll just have to come back this evening. While I'm here, I wonder if I could see my friend Boog Wilson.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, I won't be a moment.
Oh, yes, sir. I guess it's all right this one time. It's right through that door there.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Oh, now, where'd this doggone little thing come from? When will I learn not to take more than one gun apart at a time?
Where is everybody?
Matt? No, Matt. Chester! Chester, you here? Doc, go away. Chester, you out back? Doc, don't come in here. No, Chester, what are you doing in that cell? Boog just locked me in. Boog Wilson, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Why? What's that gun for?
I'm sorry.
Boog, you listen to me. You haven't got enough sense to have a gun, so give it here.
I got to get to Mr. Maples. I'm sorry, Mr. Doctor.
Doc, you all right? Chester, I need help. Doc, you can't die. Doc! Mr. Dillon! Mr. Dillon! Anybody? Doc's been shot! Help! Help!
Mr. Maples? It's me. It's Boog Wilson.
Come up here, Boog.
Well, how come you're on the gallows, Mr. Maples? Ain't you ready to go?
Come here, Boog.
You waited, like you said, didn't you, Mr. Maples?
Did you use the gun I gave you?
We better hurry. They'll be after me.
I asked you if you used the gun.
I done what you told me, Mr. Maples.
Boog, listen to me. You still have the gun.
Yes, sir. Right here.
Give me the gun, Boog.
Well, sure. There.
It's been fired. Did you kill anyone?
I used it, like you said.
Boog, I asked you, did you kill anyone?
Well, that doctor man, he came in and I shot him.
You know what I have to do to you now, Boog?
You said you was my friend. You gave me the gun so I could come back to you so we could go away together. That's what you said.
But you've killed now, Boog. Don't you understand? You've broken the law. Boog Wilson, I find you guilty of murder in cold blood. And for your just punishment under the law, I sentence you to hang by the neck until you're dead!
Doc was to die, I don't know what I'd do with myself.
He's not going to die, Chester, but you can be awful glad I came back as soon as I did.
Yes, sir. Mr. Dillon, look. The gallows, they ain't gone yet.
No.
I don't see nobody around. Mr. Dillon, that rope on the gallows, swinging like there's a body on the end of it.
Come on.
It's a man. He's went and hanged Boog.
Stay here, Chester. Keep me covered.
Yes, sir.
Chester, come here.
Why, it's the hangman himself. Is he sure enough dead?
Yeah, he's dead. He said himself they never have to come back. What?
No need to shoot, Marshal. I ain't giving trouble.
Did you do this, Boog?
I done it.
Why?
Well, he throwed a fit.
What kind of a fit?
When I come back from Dodge, he asked, did I kill a man? I told him I had, that doctor man. And that's when he throwed a fit.
What did he do?
He started hollering law on me, saying how he was going to have to hang me for that killing. It was either me or him.
Boog, he gave you that gun just so you'd kill a man, so he could have a hanging. Prove that Dodge needed his kind of law.
Oh, no, you're wrong, Marshal. Something just made him crazy for a little while. Like happens to me when I drink liquor. He was going to take me traveling with him, Marshal. Now, you're wrong about Mr. Maples. He was the best friend I ever had.
All right, Boog. All right.
Gunsmoke. Produced and directed in Hollywood by Norman Macdonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. The story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Tom Hanley, with editorial supervision by John Meston. Featured in the cast were Vic Perrin, Joseph Kearns, Virginia Christine, and Barney Phillips. Harley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. This is George Walsh inviting you to join us again next week when CBS Radio presents another story on Gunsmoke.
And from 64 years ago, August 28, 1960, Gunsmoke, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Comedy and drama tomorrow with episodes of The Great Gildersleeve, George Burns and Gracie Allen, Pete Kelly's Blues, and starring Jack Webb from 1951, X-1, Volpla, and another episode as we wrap up Dr. Roebling and the Voice Machine series of stories of Superman and get ready to launch a new one. That'll be coming up tomorrow. But right now we're going to pause and bring you an episode of Blackstone, the Magic Detective.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chief hope of our enemies is to divide the United States along racial and religious lines and thereby conquer us. Let's not spread prejudice. A divided America is a weak America. Through our behavior, we encourage the respect of our children and make them better neighbors to all races and religions. Remind them that being good neighbors has helped make our country great and kept her free. Thank you.
And you know Jack's right. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 75 years. August 28th, 1949, an episode of Blackstone, the Magic Detective, and the Criminal Who Caught Himself.
The Magic Detective, starring the world's greatest living magician, Blackstone. He tells you the inside story of the criminal who caught himself. And right after the story, Blackstone will explain tricks that you yourself can perform, reveal the guarded secrets of the world's greatest living magician. And now, stand by for Blackstone, the Magic Detective.
Sit down, Alan.
Yes, have this chair.
Well, I can only stay a minute, but... Ouch!
Well, what under the sun's the matter with you?
Why, I got a shock. There's something funny the matter with that chair. I started to sit down, then all of a sudden...
Jumped right up again, huh?
I certainly did. Hey, what's going on around here?
Why, nothing, Alan. Nothing at all.
You must have been mistaken, Alan. I was not. Guess I know a shock when I feel one.
So did Siegfried Arnwald.
Smart guy, Siegfried. Who is he?
Oh, tell him the story, Blackstone.
Late one rainy night, an old man and his wife came to see me. An old man named Professor Jensen. I had heard, of course, of the great scientist, but I'd never met him. I can't tell you what an honor this is, Professor, to have you visit me.
Oh, bish tush, Mr. Blackstone.
Not at all. You're one of our greatest men, and...
Who is great, yes. You are great, Otto. Yes, fine. It's an honor to be here, too.
Well, tell me, is there anything I can do for you?
Take off your shoes, Otto. I tell him to take off his shoes. He's so stubborn, my Otto. We'll not wear galoshes in this rain. Take off your shoes.
Yeah, my dear.
Around in his stockings he will sit, and the cold he will not catch. Fine.
I have my troubles, Mr. Blackstone. Great troubles.
You will have more if you do not take off your other shoe.
Yeah, my dear. As I say, I have troubles.
Well, of course, if there's anything that I can do, I'll be
That's what I said to my Otto. Mr. Blackstone is a great man. He'll help us. Yes, he will help us fine.
You see, I have been inventing a new serum, Mr. Blackstone. A very valuable serum. It will cure many, many diseases. I talk to no one about it, about what it will do, until I have perfected this. You understand?
Yes, of course.
In my laboratory, I have many experiments, many valuable experiments. I am nearing completion of many. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Blackstone, this serum will end much suffering, will save many lives. Many.
It's fine, this serum, fine.
I'm sure of it, but I'm no chemist. What help can I give you?
Well, bad things have been happening to my serum, yeah, very bad things. Just before the serum is completed, something happens. How do you say it in your language? Outside elements have been introduced into my chemicals. My experiments no longer turn out as expected.
You mean your chemicals have been adulterated?
Yeah, that is the word. Adulterated.
You keep your lab locked up, of course?
Of course. Always it is locked.
Well, who has a key?
I have one, and my wife, she has the other. That is all.
No one could possibly get in when you aren't there?
It's impossible.
Well, what I don't understand is why anyone would want to ruin your experiments. They're solely for the good of the human race.
I know why.
Oh? Tell me.
We are newly come to your country, Mr. Blackstone. Made for us a refuge, a haven. You're kind to us, all your people. You let us work at what we do best. You let us believe all we want to believe.
But all the world is not like that.
Our country was overrun by men who are more beasts than men. They do not like the good things. They do not like the serum of my Otto. They want to destroy it before it can save the lives of many young men they have tried to kill.
My serum will cure many men who have fought in this war. It will make them strong. The beasts do not want us to be strong. They want them to be weak and to die.
That is why my Otto's experiments are being ruined.
It hardly seems possible.
Yeah, is possible. And tomorrow more will be done.
I'd like to visit your laboratory tonight, Professor Jensen. Would you take me there?
An honor it would be. And perhaps we can save this new serum tonight.
Yeah, we go now. Your shoes, Otto. And your scarf tied around your throat.
Yeah.
Now, your overcoat. That's right. Second button, Otto. Oh, you must fasten
Well,
it.
I'll get my assistant, Miss Brent, if you'll excuse me, and then we'll be on our way.
It's dark. I will turn on the lights.
Oh, let me carry that suitcase, Blackstone.
No thanks, Rhoda. I can manage.
We do not come here much at night anymore. My Otto, he's getting old and he needs his sleep. That is why the light is so bad.
Over here are my vials of serum. They must be allowed to stay undisturbed for several weeks. This lot is almost done.
Yeah.
It will be finished tomorrow. Then it will be ready to save lives.
Does anyone ever come here but you two?
No, except for Siegfried.
Well, who is Siegfried?
Oh, he is a poor refugee, even as we are. Was in a concentration camp for a long time, and no more can he talk. He's dumb.
Well, what does he do?
Well, he washes up, he sweeps out, he helps me. Not a poor Siegfried.
He's perfectly trustworthy?
Oh, of course. He needs a home. He's just a young boy who has had great misfortune. Someday we hope his speech will return.
Does he ever come here alone?
Oh, no.
Well, is there some place where we can stay for a little while, somewhere out of sight?
Yeah, come into the kitchen over here across the hall.
Fine.
I will make you some tea. It will go fine. Fine.
Go ahead, Professor, after you. Oh, should I lock this door?
No, just shut it behind you. It will lock itself.
Oh, it's a metal door. No one could ever break it down.
Note the hinges. They are hidden, so the door cannot be lifted from.
Yes.
Come on, Blackstone.
I'll be with you in a second. There's something I want to do first.
Blackstone, what's the point of just sitting here in the professor's kitchen? We can't even see the laboratory from here. A dozen people could break in and we'd never even notice.
Oh, if anyone tries to break in, they'll call us first.
Otto, no more cake. Oh, you want to be awake all night with bad dreams?
Oh, but, my dear, with the bad dreams, you must be asleep, yeah? All night.
Just the same, no more cake.
You see, Mr. Blackstone, I cannot even make for myself the bad dreams. She kills me with kindness.
Yeah, you love it, my Otto.
Perhaps. But I love your so good cake, too.
Oh, my Otto. Well, a small piece, perhaps. But a small one.
Golly, it's driving me crazy just sitting here, Blackstone. Are you sure we'll know if somebody breaks in?
I'm sure, Rhoda.
Perhaps tonight nothing will happen to my serum. Perhaps I have been mistaken.
Oh, what's that?
Quick, this way.
Gott in Himmel! Siegfried!
Yeah, it is Siegfried.
He's talking.
And he's got a key in his hand.
No.
It's Siegfried who's been breaking into your laboratory and ruining your experiments.
No, impossible.
You are fools, all of you. You didn't believe that I was really dumb, did you? You didn't believe that I would really let you finish these experiments, did you? You fools.
Shall I call the FBI?
Yes, Rhoda.
You have outsmarted me this time, you fools. But not for long. We will win in the end. Force is stronger than kindness. We will win someday.
Poor Siegfried. He forgets that kindness is a force also. Poor Siegfried.
But tell me, how did you ever make Siegfried call to you like that?
It was magic, Alan.
Yes, the same kind of magic that made that chair give you a shock when you sat in it. The magic of electricity. The same kind of gadget that gives you a shock in the funny house at an amusement park. I attached a spark coil to the inside of the door before I closed it. When Siegfried touched it with a metal key, he couldn't help but scream.
And so, another mystery was solved by magic.
Yes. Now for a simple but puzzling trick. Do you have a coin, Alan?
How large a coin, Blackstone?
The smallest you have.
All right. Here's a penny. There's nothing smaller than that.
Oh, you're wrong, Alan. A dime is smaller than a penny. I'll take that dime.
Do I get it back?
Of course. Only first I'm going to spin it and let Rhoda call heads or tails.
Go right ahead. I'll guess. Only if you try any sleight of hand.
No sleight of hand, Rhoda. Now, you see this box of safety matches?
Yes.
Well, when I spin the coin, I'll slap the matchbox on it so nobody can see how the coin lies or even touch it.
Oh, that's fair enough. Go ahead.
All right. Now, I'll spin the coin. Now I flatten it with the matchbox.
And I'm to guess head or tails?
That's right.
I say heads.
And I lift the matchbox. Heads it is. Well, now let's try again, Rhoda.
Can I spin the coin?
Certainly.
Here goes.
And I flatten it with the matchbox. Now, which is it, heads or tails?
I say tails this time.
But you're wrong.
Well, how do you know? You can't see the coin.
Neither can you, Rhoda. Not even when I lift the matchbox.
Well, the coin has vanished.
It disappeared right from under the matchbox. Say, Blackstone, where is it?
Ask Rhoda. She's doing the guessing.
Oh, only I can't begin to guess that one.
Well, you guess again, Rhoda. And if you give up, I'll tell you where the coin went.
And now, Blackstone, where is that missing dime?
My dime, Blackstone, remember?
Well, here's another to replace it, Alan. And here's another matchbox. This time I'll show you how the trick works.
You mean the matchbox has something to do with it?
Everything to do with it. First, the matchbox must be empty. Next, we put the drawer in upside down.
But why?
So there will be only one thickness of wood at the bottom of the matchbox. Now you spin the coin, Rhoda.
All right. There it goes.
And down comes the matchbox, hard and square. I lift the box.
The dime is gone.
Only this time I'll show you the bottom of the matchbox.
Say, Blackstone, you knocked the coin right through it.
Why, I'll say, look at that hole it punched.
And that's where the dime went. The first 2 or 3 times you may merely flatten the coin on the table.
But that makes it all the better the time it finally disappears. Oh, it certainly baffles me.
Good. I hope you like that trick, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, this is Blackstone saying good magic and goodbye.
Be with us next time when the world's greatest living magician, Blackstone, tells us the story of the Vanishing Necklace and explains more tricks that you yourself can perform. Listen in again to Blackstone, the world's greatest living magician.
75 years ago, August 28, 1949, Blackstone, the Magic Detective. Thank you for spending part of your Wednesday with us. As we said on Thursday's podcast, we'll have The Great Gildersleeve, George Burns and Gracie Allen, Pete Kelly's Blues starring Jack Webb, an episode of X-1 and Superman. And then on Friday, comedy with Fibber McGee and Molly, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, It Pays to Be Ignorant, and an episode of Dimension X, Marionettes Incorporated, and Claudia. And then, let's see, on Saturday, we'll have the Stan Freberg Show, the Jack Kirkwood Show, Matinee with Bob and Ray, and the Magnificent Montague. And then Sunday, a couple of Westerns, Fort Laramie and Gunsmoke, and then Milton Berle and My Favorite Husband. That's all coming up for the next 4 days. And thank you for being with us here on this Wednesday edition of Classic Radio Theater. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm Wyatt Cox.